In this section, we're going to talk about paychecks. We're going to calculate the deductions and then subtract the deductions from the employee's gross pay to calculate their take-home pay, also called net pay. So as you probably know, most paychecks have many things deducted from the check, such as federal income tax, Social Security, Medicare, potentially medical benefits, etc. The subtracted items are going to be called deductions. So an employee's pay before the deductions is called gross pay or gross earnings. Once you subtract the deductions, then you get net pay or take-home pay. It's called take-home pay because that's the actual pay that the person gets. Deductions such as Social Security, Medicare are calculated as a percentage of the gross pay. And of course, we're going to do a couple of examples. So let's say an employee has gross earnings of $1,000 for this paycheck. Her federal income tax for this paycheck is $125. Social Security is taxed at 6.2% of gross, and Medicare is taxed at 1.45% of gross. Calculate her net pay. So let's calculate Social Security first. So Social Security is 6.2% of gross pay. So gross pay is $1,000 times 6.2%. So we have a deduction of $62. Next, let's do her Medicare. Medicare is 1.45% of gross. So that turns out to be $14.50. So her net pay is going to be $1,000 minus the federal income tax of $125, minus the $62 for Social Security, minus the $14.50 for Medicare, gives us take-home pay or net pay of $798.50. So what's the most efficient way to use our desktop calculator? Memory. Obviously, since we're working with currency, you have to set your decimal selector to 2 because we're going to round to the nearest cent. So the first thing to do when we're using memory is to clear memory. So asterisk M. And then we're going to add the gross pay. So 1,000 M plus. And then we're going to calculate Social Security and then subtract it. So to do that, enter 1,000 times 6.2, hit the percent sign, and then hit M minus. Then we're going to calculate Medicare. So that's 1,000 times 1.45%, M minus, and then we have to subtract the federal income tax. So that's 125, M minus, and then to see what is in memory, hit your diamond M, and you should get $798.50. Let's do another one. An employee has gross earnings of $998 for this paycheck. Her federal income tax is $97. Social Security, again, is at 6.2%, Medicare 1.45%, but they also have insurance of 1.5%. So let's calculate her net pay. So let's do Social Security first. Social Security is 6.2%, so that's $998 times 6.2% gives us a deduction of $61.88. Medicare is next. $998 times 1.45% gives us a deduction of $14.47. Insurance is 1.5% of gross, so that gives us $14.97. And then to calculate net pay, take gross minus the federal income tax, minus the Social Security, minus the Medicare, minus insurance, gives us a net pay or take-home pay of $809.68. But let's use our calculator and do this efficiently. Of course, we're still set to 2 for the decimal selector, so we need to clear memory, asterisk M. Let's add the gross pay to memory, $998 M plus. Let's calculate Social Security, $998 times 6.2%, and then subtract that from memory, M minus. Next, let's do Medicare, $998 times 1.45%, hit M minus. Next, let's calculate the insurance and deduct that, $998 times 1.5%, M minus. Then don't forget about the federal income tax. Students often forget this. So we have to subtract that. So that's 97 M minus. Now we're done. So to see what's in memory, we hit Diamond M, and you should get 809.68.